Hello, beautiful Sagittarius. Welcome to your 2025 extensive tarot reading. I am Elena Valdez, and I am so happy to have you here today. And today, Sag, this reading is going to be much longer than the usual monthlies because I incorporate the 12 houses of the astrological wheel, and each pertains to specific themes. So I'll be combining the themes of the astrological houses as well as the tarot. And I will explain what each house means as we get into it. All right, so let's get started. Beautiful Sagittarius, with the overall energy of 2025 for you as the collective Sagittarius. Let's see, does that want to be? I feel like this one's fighting to be seen. The Lovers. That is your card, Saggy. This is overall energy 2025, and it can be a couple of things. First and foremost, this is about equilibrium, right? This is about balancing our masculine and feminine energies. This is about finding union with another. But more than that, this is about choosing a path. And for some of you, this is going to be about choosing a path that is not the one that you're on currently. Because this is, after all, the original card of making a choice, choosing a path. Even though it looks like a very romantic card, the romance piece of it is not going to resonate with all of you. For a lot of you, this is going to be a year where you're going to get to a point, beautiful Sagittarius, where a choice must be made between two paths. Bottom line, that's what this is. Okay, so let's get into it to see if the reading gives us more information on this overall energy for you, my Saggies. One of my favorite signs of all time. Okay. I have already pre-shuffled the cards, so I'm going to get right into it. First house, second house, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh. And if you hear a squeaking noise in the background, I apologize. That is a very squeaky vent that when it gets windy here, it just makes a lot of noise. So I apologize. Let's see. I hope it does not interrupt the reading for you. And let me just organize this because I want you to make sure it comes out nice for you. Actually, let's see. Yes, it matters. Aesthetics matter, okay? All right, I think that looks okay. All right. Let's get started, Saggy, with the first house. The first house is the I am. It speaks of you, how people see you, like the first impression that you make upon people. It also speaks about our outlook in life. So it'll tell us a little bit about what your outlook will be here in 2025. It also speaks about our physicality and what we choose to do with it, like movement forward or movement backwards. And you have the Ace of Pentacles, beautiful Sagittarius. This is a year where your primary focus, your predominant focus here, in terms of what motivates you to take action, with it being in the first house, is going to be all things that have the possibility and the potential of building roots with the Ace of Pentacles. The Ace of Pentacles is the beginning of something, right? It's the beginning, it's the potential, it's the seed. It holds the seed for full fruition and all things tangible. But this is also a card that comes up, specifically when we're speaking of the first house, Sagittarius. This is a card that comes up when we are looking into new ways of taking care of our body and rebuilding our physical structure. So you may be very focused this year on either rebuilding or building differently your physicality, but also starting from scratch. Ace of Pentacles is about starting over in the areas of your life that have to do with your tangibility, meaning your money, the things you own, your physical body, all of those things, right? So that's like your predominant focus here with the first house, with the Ace of Pentacles being in your first house. You also have the Tower. So this is about doing away with anything that doesn't have longevity, right? Which is interesting that you got the Tower next to the Ace of Pentacles, because a lot of you, this symbolizes that something had to fall apart for you to be in this place where now you need to start over. And this can be in so many different ways, right? For some of you, this can be relationship, it can be career, it can be financial. But in any case, this is about something having to come apart potentially in 2024 for you to now be in this position of, okay, let's rebuild. Let's start from scratch. Let's do it right. Let's make sure that what we build this year is not on a faulty foundation, because the Tower is about a faulty foundation, something that's not very sturdy and stable. And the Ace of Pentacles seeks to build from the ground up, right? Like it wants, whatever it builds needs to be sturdy and for the long term. So that's your focus. Sturdy, long term, let go of the things that do not serve you. I know that's a cliche, it sounds like one, but this is what came out in your first house. The second house is about our financial resources, the financial resources we earn, but it's also about the resources that we naturally inherently hold. So our skill set, our talent, our value, our self-worth, all of that, as well as the investments we own, like the tangible investments we own, the artwork, the jewelry, the land, etc. And you have the Eight of Wands. Something is fueling you here, Saggy. You're starting off with the bang, with the Tower and the Ace of Pentacles. This is getting down to business and serious about rebuilding. And then in the house of earning wealth, you have a lot of energy. But it's not just about energy. This is about your self-esteem and what you think you're worthy of in terms of what you charge for your services, your products, your salary. And the Eight of Wands is, I got this. I've got the riz, right? Like I've got the energy, like putting a lot of your energy into the resources, whether it's financial. Resources can also be our skill set, right? What we know, our knowledge, our time. There's a lot of energy here with the Eight of Wands. Also, another thing that you may hold quite valuable here, because the second house is also what and who we hold valuable. Something you may hold valuable here in 2025 is the concept of traveling. But that's kind of already synonymous with the Saggy, right? And then you have Justice. In the second house, Justice symbolizes that you're going to be concerned with all matters of reciprocity. Remember, it's also financial, right? It's your earnings, your value system, your talents. So for those of you who currently work for someone, you're going to be quite invested in making sure that you are receiving the earnings that you deserve. Like even in your products, whatever it is that you're doing. But this is also, Justice in the second house is also about making sure that your value is being reciprocated, like people acknowledging and knowing that you're worthy of something, and then you seeing that in the treatment, the way they treat you, the way they speak with you or to you, or the way they communicate with you. With the Justice card here and the Eight of Wands, there's a lot of energy and a lot of attention and emphasis being put on how fairly do other people treat me. But it's also about reciprocity, right? Remember, we're talking about financials here as well, and value. So I feel like for a lot of you, this is going to be, it's almost like you're hyper focused with the Eight of Wands. You're hyper focused on fairness. This can sometimes make people become a little bit tit for tat, like almost like so reciprocal, like everything has to be 50-50. And so just a little like heads up to watch for that, right? Because this energy here in the second house can make us hyper focused on how perfect the reciprocity is. And reciprocity doesn't always need to be tit for tat, right? So that's just something to look out for here, Saggy, in 2025. And then we have the third house, which is communication, learning, coursework we're taking, classes. It's also our neighborhood, our neighbors. It's also siblings, classmates, like the kiddos that we grew up with in grammar school, short distance travel. A lot lives here in the third house, but the crux of it is communication. This tells me with the Four of Cups is you don't feel like you're being emotionally and mentally stimulated here in an area of communication, beautiful Sagittarius. This can be with your family, with your siblings. This can be with your neighbors, your neighborhood. There's a sense of boredom. You're either not stimulated mentally here or emotionally, really, with the cups, with those people or the communication or the things you talk about, or maybe you're not hearing from them enough and you're not having enough conversations like you'd like to have. But there's a dissatisfaction there in the area of communication and the connection you have with these people that I just mentioned live in the third house. Let's get some more info on that. You can also be bored with your neighborhood, Saggy. It could be something about your neighborhood, the people that live around you, that you're sort of like underwhelmed. You're like, ugh, really? Do you have anything else to talk about? Something that's a bit more important? And then you have the Six of Wands. This is like a need to shine in topics of communication. This is like a need to be recognized and seen from your siblings, your neighbors. It's almost like you're feeling underwhelmed because you want more, Saggy. You want more from that community, from your community. You want more. And this can also be an indication that the boredom can be pointing towards maybe utilizing marketing, communication, social media to stimulate that part, that thing that you're not getting from your current community. Some of you may be thinking about that, going into some form of social media or marketing or maybe even travel. But remember, this is also about learning, right? So you may be inspired. The boredom may actually catapult you into the limelight through either studying something new and different or starting your own channel online or teaching something like the 101s of something here in the third house, just to elevate you because you're like, oh, I'm not getting what I need here. And then we move into the fourth house. The fourth house can literally speak of the home you live in, your ancestry, your lineage, your topics of the mother, topics of mothering, the maternal or nurturing parent, even the maternal grandparents, your lineage, but more importantly, the home you live in. So this is the Three of Pentacles indicating that you really are trying to figure out here. You're really working on 2025. You're working on collaborating with other people you live with, figuring out how to collaborate maybe with your mother, your maternal, your lineage. This can also be about reconnecting or like a reunion with family members from our lineage, right? That you're figuring out how to utilize your weaknesses for strength instead of focusing on what's not working, right? The same with other people, like focusing more on their strengths than their weaknesses and collaborating and working well with them. Or finding common purpose. Like, what is your common purpose with your family here? Or the people you live with? Maybe even your mother here. What is your common purpose, you as a parent, right? But more importantly, what's going on at home? For a lot of you, this can just simply mean that you're working from home in a very collaborative way with other people. I just heard that for a handful of you, you are turning your home into offices where people you have hired are coming into your home to work with you. Like creating an office space there. And then you have the Ace of Cups. Yeah, so for most of you, this is about creating harmony, compassion, love, safety, care, nurturing in the home. That's a big focus for you, Saggy, this year. It's almost like, how do I do that better, right? In my house, the home I live in with my family. Your family can be pets, it can be your children, it can be your spouse, it can be your parents, whomever you live with. But this is also about forgiving with the Ace of Cups, with love overflowing. It's about forgiving something that may have happened with your family lineage, your ancestry, something from the past here, and working to resolve that. So for some of you, there's something that needs to be resolved here. So there's a connection here with the third house of siblings, neighborhood, but also something separate happening in the home of like your lineage, right? Like maybe there's an aunt, an uncle, a cousin, someone that you fell out of communication with because something happened in the past. Maybe it's your mother, maybe it's your father, your child, whatever it is, or maybe just if you didn't fall out of communication, just you being focused on creating an environment of love and peace and harmony in the home. Okay, so then we move into the fifth house. And if I'm rushing, if it sounds like I'm rushing, it's because I am. And I'm rushing because I'm losing daylight. So I'm trying to get through this, beautiful Sagittarius. So I apologize if my words are stumbling. They are. I just noticed that because usually I do my readings a lot slower. But I'm stumbling because I'm like racing for sunlight here. So hopefully it doesn't get too dark during your reading. Let's move into the fifth house. The fifth house is creativity, our children, romance, anything creative, anything we birth from scratch, which is why children live there. And it doesn't matter if you've adopted them, foster children, all of that, same. They live in the fifth house. Also, this is your entrepreneurship because, again, you created something from your creative, from yourself, from your solar plexus. And yes, romance does live in here, but also hobbies, leisure, the things that bring us joy. And you have the death and rebirth card in here. So you're looking at things, you're creative differently this year. Maybe there's also a romance happening here in the year of 2025, Sagittarius, that's making you really question if a transformation needs to take place, whether it's a transformation within that relationship or a transformation within yourself. But for some of you where this is not romance, this is just you taking your creative to a different path or on a different path or completely getting rid of something that you used to be focused on creatively and questioning yourself as like, what do I really want to do now with my creative energy? For others of you, this is about restructuring your relationship with a child. And then you have the Three of Wands. So what you could be wanting to restructure here in the fifth house of creative, hobbies, romance is a sense of adventure. I'm telling you, Saggy, you're bored. There's something that you're bored about. And I wonder if it's connected to this family stagnation or this you want to create more love, more flow. Remember, you have this energy, this abundance of energy here. It's almost like, and then with having to start a new path or choose between two paths, it's like choosing between the stagnant and the adventurous. And in the fifth house of romance, you quite literally may be choosing between two different types of individuals, right? One who is more adventurous, who likes to travel, another who's more inward, more, psychological, maybe more introverted, because this is more introverted, this is more extroverted. But overall, I feel like you're realizing that you need, it's like you need to unstick from something, Saggy. Like you need fun, you need adventure. The Three of Wands is a card of travel along with the Eight of Wands here. So you may be choosing to travel somewhere completely new that is unfamiliar to you, but that inspires you. And then we move into the sixth house. The sixth house is health, routine, the day-to-day work, service, and you have the Queen of Pentacles. So your health is looking good. It's balanced. You're at peace. The more peaceful you are, Sagittarius, and the more in tune you are with nature and the natural cycles of nature, the healthier you're going to be this year. Because the Queen of Pentacles represents feeling grounded. This can be meditation. This can be hiking. This can be just your own financial wealth spilling into your health. And then you have the Two of Pentacles. Two Pentacles in your health sector. So this is a year where you'll be balancing your health with things that have to do with groundedness. So you are being encouraged, Sagittarius, to balance your health here. But it's a balance to continue the good health you currently have is what I'm sensing here. It's almost like continue what you're doing, continue the balance, and continue the balance, right? But for some of you, this is also something to do with the adventure you're having and the stagnation, like balancing that because it contributes into your health as well. This is interesting. Your read is a little interesting to me because it feels like on the one hand, you know where you're going. You're very sure here with the Ace of Pentacles. But then on the other hand, there's a part, Sagittarius, that I'm picking up from you. From one hand, you have conviction in terms of this is the objective of the year, this is my focus. But on the other hand, there's something in the background sort of lurking here with the Four of Cups and the Death card that says you're not quite content yet. There's something still missing for you here. But let's unfold the reading and see what else comes up. Here's the 7th house. The 7th house is partnerships, committed relationships, marriage, divorce, contracts, legal, business partnerships, and you have the World. So you could be this year, Sagittarius, getting involved in a relationship, maybe with someone international, or potentially traveling here quite a bit in 2025 with a partner. Again, I keep going back to this Lovers card, and I'm looking at that there's something where we're about to uncover some info here. We're about to uncover it. Let's see what it is. But the World card, yet again, another travel card with the 3 of Wands and the 8 of Wands. Remember, this was in your romance sector. This is in your committed partnership section. So there is something here with the World, beautiful Sagittarius. You may be in a partnership that requires you to either travel or with somebody who is maybe international, foreign. For others of you, this can be just closing out a marriage, finalizing it, finalizing a divorce, but finalizing getting married also, like the contracts and all of the things that are involved, right? Coming full circle in something. And then you have the King of Wands. Oh, Saggy. This is intense. This is where you get unstuck. This is where something here that you're going to do that pertains to a relationship, travel, your expansion. This is where you're going to find another level of yourself, the leader in you. A different higher level capacity in the area of relationships. I'm going to come back to this. I feel like this is going to uncover itself more in these houses. So the 8th house is the house of merging, the house of sensuality, sexuality, intimacy, shared resources, the resources of other people, inheritance, what else? Other people's money, deep psychology house, the hidden. And you have the Knight of Swords. Geez, honey, you are wanting to escape something here with the Knight of Swords in there. It's like, he's literally, you see it, right? He's literally running away, but running towards something that's exciting. This can be a bit hasty. This is about intimacy for you, though. Let me see what else I get here for you. The 8th house is deep. It's a deep house, and we need to treat it with kid gloves. It doesn't feel like kid gloves, but it's an intense house. And depending on what we have in our own personal chart, what planets, what sign is in there, can tell us a lot. It's originally, traditionally associated with Scorpio. Yeah, the Four of Wands. You're running towards your happiness here. This is about merging with another person, potentially a fire sign, another fire sign, Sagittarius. So that could be Aries, Sagittarius, Leo. It's like you're quite literally running to be intimate towards your happiness, towards your stability, your future commitment here with the Four of Wands. And with the World and the King of Wands, there's a connection there, but you're like wasting no time. You're like, I'm going, baby. Don't just forget the flight. I'm just gonna get on my motorcycle and I'll be there faster than the freaking plane will get there. So there's something that you're rushing towards, something that you feel will have some kind of deep, intimate satisfaction here for you. All right, let's move into the ninth house. The ninth house is foreign land, foreigners, higher learning. It can speak about higher education that we'd be going into. It can also speak about the topics that we master and teach. It can talk about cultural ideology as well as religious ideas, philosophy. A lot lives in these. As you can tell, a lot lives in each house, right? We got to consider all the themes. You have the Knight of Wands, honey. Another fire sign. This is more specifically you, Sagittarius, the Knight of Wands. And remember, this is the house of foreign lands, foreigners, higher learning. This is a freedom here in your expression. This is a freedom in your ideology. Maybe philosophically, you have broken some kind of bind. Something, remember, you start off with conviction and you have all these yummies happening and then kind of these little stagnant little things that pop up and then boom, it's like you wake up. And I think it's another person, Sagittarius, that's really waking you up here, because it's not just emotional, right? It's sensual and potentially sexual here. There's a lot of fire here in this reading. Let's see what else for the ninth house. This could be a foreigner for you, a fire sign that you meet while traveling, but this is also about you just feeling free to express who you are. This is traditionally ruled, the ninth house, traditionally associated with Sagittarius. So this is your natural house here. And with the star, what a beautiful presence to have there in the ninth house. This is about your ideas, what you believe in, Sagittarius. Like you're going to be so tuned in this year. It's like you're exploring something different, maybe culturally, maybe a new religion, maybe something spiritual, or maybe you're breaking free from an ideology here. And this is why you're now feeling like more of yourself. But with the star, this is about being in that energy of faith. And faith doesn't have to be religious, right? Like it can just be faith in yourself, faith in the unknown, faith in the divine, whatever you hold sacred. But I feel like you're coming out of a cocoon here. It's like you're exploring yourself in a different way, Saggy. You're coming alive. And it is connected to another person. So this Lovers card here for the majority of you is going to be about choosing a path with a person. All right, so let's get into your 10th house. The 10th house is career, reputation, fame, social standing. Oh, the Emperor, another fire sign. This is Aries. Okay, but here, look at this brilliance. Look at all this beautiful fire. Oof, you are going to be hot, Saggy in 2025. The Emperor, you're ahead of your game in your career, beautiful. Like that's it. Period, end of story. You're leading in your field, whatever it is you do for a living, however it is that you are known for, your fame, your reputation out in the public eye. You are respected, you are leading, you're focused. It's beautiful. Wow. Saggy. You got swag. Another fire card. Page of Wands. Honey, I don't know what you're doing, but I want you to bring me with you. Like whatever, whomever, wherever you're going, I need to be there because this is like amazing. I want to go. take me with you. Here with career, reputation, how socially, how you're being received. You know, you're being seen as somebody who has a lot of beautiful energy, who is inspiring, along with being a leader. So you have the concrete legacy roots of the Emperor, along with the youthfulness of the Page of Wands. So it's like you have the best of both worlds here, Saggy, in terms of your career and how other people see you in the larger scale and in terms of your reputation, right? Because the Page of Wands is the card of Sagittarius, is another card of Sagittarius, along with the Knight of Wands. And, you know, remember, you got the Knight of Wands over here. This is all about self-expression. This is all about inspiration. This is all about leading with vigor, leading with grit. But because you're inspired, you're not going to do the things that are down here holding you down, the boredom. You're so over it. You're so over it. Because remember, there's something that your catapult point in 2025, Saggy, is going to be something that you're bored AF about, that catapults you and inspires you to lead in something. And that's where the transition begins for you. For some of you in your career, you're adding something different, a new layer, a new level of inspiration, something that inspires you. You're adding to the work that you do, and that's part of what's making you even more successful here. Okay, then we move into the 11th house. The 11th house is the house of hopes and wishes, networks, another house of social media, along with the 3rd house. But this is also about your friendships, your sphere of influence. And you have the High Priestess. So in terms of hopes and wishes, Sagittarius, you are intuitively being led here. You are guiding the things that you're hoping for and wishing for through your spirit, through your mind, through your own solitude, the things that you're hoping for in the background. But there's also an indication here that you're pulling back and away a bit from big groups like networks. You're keeping some privacy or maybe a secret from your networks, or you're kind of on the down low right now when it comes to social media, but which is interesting because you are leading and shining and publicly being received, acknowledged in some area. And at the same time, when it comes to your networks, your connections, your friendships, you're keeping something to yourself here. You're protecting something. Let's see, let's get more info here on the 11th house. 9 of Pentacles. You're keeping an idea, something that you have in terms of how you are going to reach independent wealth, independence. There's something here, it's almost like to keep the peace, your internal peace here with the 9 of Pentacles is our internal wealth, right? And yes, it can speak about financial freedom, our ability to create that by ourselves and being self-sufficient, right? And having everything we need, right? But with the High Priestess, I'm picking up a couple of things. I'm picking up that for some of you, even though you have this amazing stuff happening with travel, with the new awareness, with inspiration, potentially a relationship here, you're also holding back. You're also like peacefully keeping a lot of your independent. There's something tied to the private. Your independence comes from your secret world. The things that you're keeping away from your friends, your networks, maybe even the social media. You're being led, your hopes and wishes, which for you, your hopes and wishes is full independence with the 9 of Pentacles. That's what it's telling me. And the way you're summoning that in, the magneticness of that is a receptive High Priestess kind of way. And so it requires that you sort of pull away, like not necessarily inform friends, family, community, the things that live in the 11th house, like not inform them of what those hopes and wishes are for you. But I am feeling that your deepest hope and wish is that you find full self-sufficiency, full independence and freedom to be who you want to be whenever you want to be, right? I mean, it sounds like we all want that, right? But for you, this is pretty prominent here in 2025. Let's end this reading. We still have a little light left. So we're ending the reading here with the 12th house. The 12th house can be the house of isolation sometimes, the house of fantastico, daydreaming, night dreaming. It can talk about ancestry in a different way than the 4th house. This can also be our mental health, as well as another house, a house of the hidden, like the things that we do in the dark, the things that we do behind closed doors. There's a lot that lives there. The King of Pentacles, yeah. So a couple of things. This is also over lands abroad, like overseas, right? Yes, this is the house of foreigners and the foreign lands, but this is lands abroad, overseas. You're doing, again, King of Pentacles in the hidden house. This is like hopes and wishes again, like what you are manifesting behind closed doors. It's like you're manifesting big, whether you call it that or not, Saggy. Because I know for some of you, you're not into the whole woo-woo, like let's manifest and law of attraction, but somehow you are. You just don't like to admit it, right? You do have this optimism that's very natural, and I know that's a generality. Obviously, I don't know your natal chart personally, but if you'd like a reading, I'll have my info down below for you to reach out to me to book a reading. But here with the King of Pentacles, there is something, you're working hard behind closed doors, Sagittarius. There's something that you're doing that has to do with your lineage, building roots, providing for your family, providing for yourself, providing for the people you love behind closed doors, which is kind of interesting. And maybe there's a reason for that. Maybe or almost like for some of you, you're hiding your wealth, or you're hiding how much you actually help someone or other people. But somehow your spirituality in 2025, it's tied to your ability to earn, your tangible manifestations. It's almost like the spiritual things that are happening here with the Star and the High Priestess and the Nine of Pentacles here. It's almost like the spiritual aspect or spiritual connection, Sagittarius, is manifesting by evidence through tangibles. I hope that makes sense. And you are creating something here in the hidden realm behind closed doors. And it could be that you are creating something committed, something strong, something that'll last, whether it's a relationship or a business or an idea behind closed doors. You're like, nah. Here with the High Priestess, you're like, nah. All of you friends and community, you don't need to know my business. You've learned, right? Right, Saggy? Although you're not really like a big talker about like the things you're up to. I think your counterpart, Gemini, definitely is. Like they talk about everything you're doing, but you, Saggy, not so much. Again, I know it's a generality, but you know what I mean. All right, let's finish here. Empress. I mean, what a beautiful way to close your reading. Beautiful, beautiful. There's something nurturing, abundant happening behind closed doors that you're protecting. With this Empress, this King of Pentacles, this is beautiful. For some of you, this is a relationship. Others of you, it could quite literally be a pregnancy that maybe you're keeping under wraps to protect the little babas, your little creation. By the way, remember the 5th house of children here, the 5th house of new creative. You have the death and rebirth. Rebirth, Scorpio, can also symbolize new birth, right? But this can also just be the new birth of a committed relationship with the Empress and the King of Pentacles. This is a beautiful pair, right? So there's the King of Pentacles taking care of his Empress. And please, this is not a gender-specific read, so adjust gender how you best resonate. But you're protecting something here, something that is valuable. The Empress is the most, this is a card of value, nurturing. So you're nurturing your wealth behind closed doors. You're nurturing a partner. You're nurturing potentially a feminine. You may have someone who, you, Sagittarius, may be more of the masculine energy, regardless if you're male or female. But this is a beautiful, beautiful reading, because whatever it is you're protecting, whether it's a child, whether it's a romance, a new relationship, a creative, because here the symbol of pregnancy can also be a new project, a new thing. You could be writing something, you could be creating something. that's not ready to see the world yet, right? Like you're incubating it here in the 12th house. Again, the 12th house is about isolating something, removing it from the public eye, keeping it hidden. And you did have that high priestess in your networks and friendships. So you're even hiding it from your friendships. You're protecting it. I love it. This is beautiful. Remember the overall energy was the Lovers. Let's get your closing overall card now. And the closing card is for Sagittarius. Yeah, so you're making a decision here. That's overall is you're making a big decision, a new path or a different path. And the reason is the Four of Coins. This is about stability, concreteness, longevity, legacy, peace, roots, all of that. That's what this is about, Sagittarius. Okay, lovely. If you like this, please subscribe, like, thumbs up, leave a comment, and I hope to find you back here again soon. Bye. Happy New Year.